You're about to listen to the Dr. Dahlia Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Dahlia Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Dahlia.
One 877 Doc Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. So I was talking to a patient and they were asking me about medications and the GLP-1s, et cetera. And, I told them, it's going to be a pretty penny, if your insurance isn't covering it. And the guy had said, I only got a peanut butter raise this last year. And I laughed, right? The reflexive laughing. I'm like, that was good, peanut butter raise. Then I thought, I'll look it up. I wasn't going to ask him what a peanut butter raise is. See, we doctors don't like to say, I don't know. We sometimes have to. I've been getting better at that, but I didn't know what a peanut butter raise was. So I was like, okay, he got a peanut butter raise. I suspected what a peanut butter raise meant is that the teacher's lounge or the lounge, right, where he was working, got free peanut butter. Or it was something where it was, it's just good enough to stick, but not as filling as you'd like it to be. Although I got to tell you, man, I've been craving some peanut butter. So I might make myself a peanut butter jelly sandwich the other day. I love peanut butter jelly. I used to hate it. And now I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm craving that. But no, I'm not pregnant. Thank you for asking. Yeah, being in my 20s, I still could get pregnant. Okay, let's not lie on air. But a peanut butter raise is something different. Apparently, a peanut butter raise is where rather than a boss looking at you and saying, you did a killer job. You crushed it. I'm giving you a raise because I value you and I don't want you going anywhere. Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Then you kind of walk out of his office or her office going, yeah, I'm good. The peanut butter raise spreads it like peanut butter across all the employees. And a lot of employers are doing that. And we predicted this would happen because many Monday morning quarterbacks would go back through the payrolls and go, well, that's interesting. This guy over here is making an extra $1,000 more a month than this lady over here, and they're in the same position. Now, were they hired at the same time? What was the base rate? Did somebody ask for more when they interviewed? And a lot of companies are like, okay, whoa. Somebody's doing a screenshot of everybody's rates. And now it looks like we're overpaying some, we're underpaying others. And trust me, there's probably companies out there that were biasing, women or men or demographics, or, I'm sure that happened. But I also believe there were some innocent, companies where they go, what do you want to, we want to hire you. What do you want to make? Well, I need to make this amount. Okay. Well, it'll be a stretch, but we'll start you at this, and then we'll go from there. Well, if women on the whole are like, what is the job offer? Well, this is what we're offering. Okay. This is then I guess I'll take that. Then they're going to start at a lower rate. If you don't ask, you don't get. And so I think a lot of companies are like, wait a second. If we give a raise to one person, we could be later accused of bias or discrimination. So you know what? We're done with that. What we'll do is everybody will get a raise, but it'll be a little teensy weensy bit. This way we get credit for giving the raise and nobody can claim discrimination because everybody got the exact same amount or percentage, depending on how they do it. Now, honestly, whatever raise if you guys are getting raises, get the raise, honestly, right? Because not a lot of companies are giving people raises. So take what you could get. But I do see for somebody like me, that's very kind of goal oriented, where I don't like, take a 40-hour work week and only work the 40 hours and clock in and clock out. I'm like, you know what? The more I work, the more I get paid. I love that. I'd rather do that. Now, and the more I put in, the more I get out. If I don't want to put much in, I don't feel guilty because I'm getting less back. And so I mean, for me, I'm just driven that way. So I would find it a little hard where if I'm doing a really good job and I am nailing it and nobody notices and there's no extra benefit, because no matter what, everybody's going to have to get the same raise anyway, so the company doesn't get in trouble. Are people going to do a stellar job? Are they going to stick their neck out for other people? Are they going to, they're like, so it's interesting. Now, you remember I told you there was that study in a classroom where the teacher, gave a test and you had the people who got the A's and the B's and then the C, D's and the F's. And then the teacher said, all right, I saw how you guys studied the grades. I'm going to do something different. Next test, no matter what, everybody gets C's. No matter what, you all are going to get the same grade. Well, the people who usually got A's were like, well, no matter what, I guess I don't have to study. And then the people who got F's and weren't studying were like, well, I guess I don't have to do anything different because I'm going to get a C. And what that showed is the class put in less effort, almost didn't even try to learn, because no matter what, they were getting the C. And so when a company is trying to save their butts so they don't look like they're discriminating, say, look, we're going to just peanut butter it across the bread, peanut butter across, everybody gets their little bit of raise, so we're good. Where are you going to get that stellar work? I really do believe there has to be incentives. Now, as a group, you could say, hey, guys, if this is what we pull off, everybody gets this percentage. So I think that helps. I think, if we see X amount of customers or if our reviews are higher, based on our reviews, we'll get bonused. That kind of thing, I think, but I think you're going to have to make people feel like they are going to get something if they are putting more into it. But if they're thinking, no matter what, this is all I'm going to get, so I'm not going to break my butt. I'm going to use my PTO. I'm going to use my whatever. And that's a problem, because I've seen this so many times. It's at the point now where if I call a company, I'm just expecting mediocre service. However, I called a hotel up today, and I was so impressed with the customer service. It was in Midtown Manhattan, and they were like so accommodating. It was like one of the best customer services I've had since COVID. And I was like, all right, well done. 1-877 Doc Dolly, don't go away. Dr. Dahlia here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme, the solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Let's face it, guys, we're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's Aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at Aftermath.media. Again, that's Aftermath.media.
Welcome back to the Dr. Dahlia Show. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Dahlia, Facebook, The Dr. Dahlia Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. Now, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I know. The clocks change again this Sunday. I promised you that we would be loud. We would get Congress to move their asses to finally stop the biannual time changes. And here we are, years later, still changing the clocks and springing forward. I'm sick of spring forward. I'm finished with fall back. I'm finished with all of it. I am sick of it. What's going on? Where are the states? Where's Congress? Well, I looked it up every 6 months or every time we talk about this, because the time, it's not necessarily at the 6-month mark. It's a 7-month mark where you have daylight savings time and then it ends. It goes into standard time. I always look up and see where the legislation's at. Very interestingly, the House put forth legislation. The Senate put forth legislation. And the majority of states did. Then why isn't anything happening? This is so ridiculous. We do not need to be changing we aren't on wartime like we were in World War I. And then in World War II, we had to do it again to save coal. We're not saving coal anymore. This is kind of ridiculous. So where we're at now, let me just we got to give credit where credit's due. Somebody is proposing legislation. We have we have the House Bill 139. That is the bill that allows states to elect to observe year-round daylight saving time as part of the Sunshine Protection Act of 2025. Listen, I like standard time more. Yeah, this is where I really, really feel better. And then once things change, maybe it's because I'm always living in the desert, so I don't really want extra sunlight and extra heat. But I'll take 1 week. I will sacrifice my own personal desires. If savings is all we're going to get, I'll take it. Just don't change the clocks anymore. Just leave them alone. Just let it be. So House Bill 139 was introduced. And, this was pretty bipartisan. And where are we on it? Just sitting there. Only 25% progression, we're being told. Just sitting there. Senate Bill 29 allows the states to elect and observe year-round daylight saving time and for other purposes. This bill, again, bipartisanly, at 25% progression since January of 2025. So basically, it's just sitting there doing nothing. Nothing's happening. I know people can say, yeah, but Dr. Dahlia, we got the War Powers Act, and Congress is a little busy. They could have worked on it January 8th of 2025. They could have worked on it January 9th of 2025. Okay, they've had plenty of time. Former Senator Marco Rubio, who's now Secretary of State, he has submitted this legislation every year. We actually had unanimous Senate votes. House stalled it. Pelosi stalled it. And I'm like, guys, it's not that hard. They're saying it's hard. They're saying the problem is if they release the states to do what they want, which is basically what it would do. States can, if the states are submitting legislation to where some do standard, some do savings, then it starts to get, well, what is Iowa? What time is it in Iowa? What time is it in Kansas? What time is it in Omaha? But I got to tell you, when you look at the legislation, so what I did is I wrote this out in an article, and you could click on each state, and it has the up-to-date legislation. And the majority of the states are asking for daylight saving time. Although, get this, California changed it to standard. California was one of the first. They had this Proposition 7, I believe, years ago. And now, and it was always for daylight saving time. So then Nevada was like, okay, well, we want daylight saving time too. Now it is for standard time. The title of the bill is Permanent Standard Time. Now, I like standard time. This was introduced February 19th of 2026. So they may act on it after March 22nd, But again, the thing is okay, well, that's California. California's passed this before. Nevada has passed this before. What's going on here? So where this kind of all, I guess, if I could get my computer working, we talk about where this all started. Ancient civilizations would use the sun, right, based on its farming abilities, etc., and they would alter their days and adjust their day to fit the daylight. That makes sense. That's not rocket science. Benjamin Franklin had a thing for Parisians, and he wrote this nice, beautiful essay for them entitled An Economical Project for Diminishing the Cost of Light in 1784. People are blaming Benjamin Franklin for this, but he never said do daylight savings time. He just said, guys, you could use fewer candles if you wake up earlier and use more of the sunlight. You could save money on candles. Now, I don't know why he had to write an essay. Why wasn't that common sense? But apparently, maybe some people needed that permission to where we could change the day if we had to. All right. So other countries adopted it, even Germany. Germany adopted it in 1916 before the U.S. And then President Woodrow Wilson was the first to sign it into law in 1918 to conserve coal during the Great War or World War One. It was then eventually repealed. But some of the states are like, you know what? I'm liking this. I think I'll keep it. So now FDR is dealing with World War II in 1942. Again, needed the conservation efforts to be in full force. So he made daylight saving time called wartime. Now, after the war, there was no federal law to maintain the time change. So states could do whatever the heck they wanted. However, apparently there was a little bit of some chaos. So then in the 60s, the Uniform Time Law tried to unite the states in this effort. It was signed by LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, where now they decreed daylight saving time to begin the last Sunday of April and to end the last Sunday of October. States had the right to vote to exempt themselves, and I believe Arizona did and Hawaii did. By 2007, the Energy Policy Act, created in 2005 but passed in 2007, declared they shifted the daylight saving time to 2 a.m. the second Sunday of March, hence the Sunday, and then ending the 2 a.m. the first Sunday of November. So it actually shrunk it, actually expanded it a little bit. I kind of remember in the 90s, because I just love standard time, so I was kind of excited that we would get standard time by Halloween. For some reason, they decided to leave Halloween out. I don't know why. Maybe they wanted less nighttime for Halloween. I mean, I would really love to start Halloween earlier if I could. But anyway, so they change it. So here we are in 2026. We don't have war. We have war now, but we don't need coal. It's ridiculous. We have lights. We have electricity. Why do we keep doing this? And what really bothers me is the spring forward comes with health risks. There's been study after study saying that there's an uptick in blood pressure. There's an uptick in heart attacks, in work-related accidents, car accidents, fertility issues. Well, then why are we doing this? Now, some people will say, really, Dr. Dahlia, nobody can deal with that extra, losing an hour of sleep. You'd think they'd be able to, but they don't. They don't deal with it pretty well at all. And so, if you look at the fall back, they say it negates the risk. We see fewer heart attacks because people are getting that extra hour of sleep, fewer accidents, better fertility, fewer workplace accidents. But rather than this, why don't we just even it out? Okay, just no time change. If there's no time change, then we don't have the uptick in heart attacks and accidents, and then we don't have to try to gain that back in the fall. Just don't do it. I think it's simpler, people. So, I don't want to go through all the studies again. I have that listed for you. I talk about this every year. But what I recommend you all do is, if you are at risk of, I guess, not handling the time change well. What today's Wednesday? Okay, so maybe plan on waking up 15 minutes earlier tomorrow. And then a half hour earlier on Friday. And then 45 minutes earlier on Saturday. So then when the time change happens on Sunday, it's only a 15-minute adjustment. Still eat a balanced breakfast. What I do to wake up in the morning is I take the dogs to go pee-pee. Even though they have a doggy door, they pretend they don't know and they pee in the house. So I take them outside and then I stand in the sun, and the sun wakes me up almost instantaneously. So get some sun. All right. Eat a balanced breakfast, continue your exercise. Don't go, well, I lost an hour, so all that exercise I planned to do as a New Year's resolution is out the door. No, keep exercising. Enjoy that natural sunlight. Take a little walk, whatever. Don't stress about the time change. Maybe tell your boss, there might be a little bit of an adjustment on that Monday to bear with you. Usually you'll be fine. But honestly, if your heart is that delicate and that vulnerable, make sure you get your heart checked. I don't want you getting a heart attack over this. If it is that sensitive, that means we doctors aren't doing a good enough job. Where if losing an hour's sleep is putting you into cardiac risk or a cardiac arrest, so definitely get that checked out and make sure your health is up to par. 1-877. By the way, sign the petition. There's a petition on Twitter and Facebook. Just sign it, and let's tell Congress to stop this BS. 1-877 Doc Dolly. Hi guys, Dr. Dahlia here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms. Whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping, addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdahlia.com. Check it out.
Lisa Wolf here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you. And be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Back on the Dr. Dahlia Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. This headline caught my eye. All right. I don't know why these catch my eye, but they do. A tech worker is suing her boss. Why is she suing her boss? What did the boss do? He must have done something really bad. He must have been extremely inappropriate. Why is this tech worker who's making close to 6 figures suing her boss? Now, that's what we assume, right? The boss is a really, really bad guy. He's a bad, bad guy. Well, what did he do? We are being told that he did not offer her champagne at an office party. Why not? Because she says it's because she's Irish. That he skipped her because he assumed that if she was Irish, it would be all about, I guess, the whiskey. Now, Louise Foley is a pre-sales consultant at London digital firm Smart Impact. And I guess this is happening overseas, according to Daily Mail. She told a tribunal, which is in their courts, that managing director Ahmed Al-Tahami had deliberately skipped her when pouring drinks at a Christmas event in November 2022 because she was Irish. Now, he placed glasses on the table for colleagues to help themselves. She was free to grab a glass of champagne, but her basic salary of £75 a year plus a £20 bonus and was something that she felt, I guess, warranted that, she needed to, I guess, bring this up to the court system. And she brought a total of 14 allegations of discrimination, harassment, and victimization against her employer. Now, she also tried to sue for unfair dismissal, withdrew that claim on the first day of the hearing. Luckily, the judge looked at this and just threw it out. I guess the champagne incident took place November 24th. And what? Apparently he was managing director, host, pouring drinks. He had gone around the room, deliberately passed her by. Now, I know some of us are like, okay, why is this newsworthy? But because seeing these things, and I think that maybe that's why Google knows that I'm interested in these employer-employee clashes, because I want to protect employees and employers from frivolous lawsuits and from being mismanaged or misrepresented or being discriminated against. And luckily this one didn't go through. Just like the chicken wing, I think what was it, Buffalo Wild Wings that was sued because their wings weren't true chicken wings. It was a different chicken wing meat. The boneless. If you serve boneless chicken wings, it's going to be a little baby pebble of chicken, because chicken wings, they don't have a lot of meat on it. And so if you're going to be giving a big chicken tender like thing, it's probably not going to be true chicken wing meat. That's just, but people are suing for this. And the reason why I bring this up is, as people, there's a real big push for this get rich quick or live off of a settlement. Now, people have always wanted to do this. I mean, remember what Big Daddy with Adam Sandler, he was living on a car accident settlement but many people are looking at the TikToks or the YouTubes or the social media going, gosh, these influencers are making a killing. They're making a killing. But many individuals are not going to be able to be that lucky. But I am seeing a huge, huge uptick of attorneys reaching out to people saying, you might have a case. You might have a case. Let's look at this. You might have a case. I'm seeing traps of people posting memes. And I told you about this trap you need to be very, very careful of, where actually it's even written online, how to entrap somebody into a copyright lawsuit. They say, take a picture. I do not want you all to do this, but this is the advice that some of these people making big money are doing. They say, take a picture of something that somebody would want to use for for their blog or for a meme. A random picture, and then secretly copyright it. Then do a Google Lens search or an image search, and everywhere you find that picture was used, you could go and sue that person for copyright infringement. And they actually can sue for copyright infringement. Now, I personally think that if it does make it through the courts, if the person didn't see the copyright sign, and most of these pictures don't have it, if they pulled it from like a Google Free Images, if they were using it for fair use, I am sure most people will be okay. But just don't use somebody else's picture. And if you don't know how to search if that picture is copywritten, don't use it. And so there's people out there that are learning how to make money that way. Like pictures of a flower or a tree or something. Pollen or somebody sneezing. And then they put it out there. They hope somebody's going to copy it and use it. And then they sue. And so you're looking at these individuals going, now, wait a second here. Somebody did not give me, or somebody said, you know what? I'm going to get everybody some BLTs. Who wants BLTs or some ham and cheese sandwiches? Oh, I'll get one. Good. And then that employee could sue, saying, you didn't understand that I don't eat pork. So you did that on purpose. You knew I don't eat pork. And that's discrimination and that's harassment. And there's some attorney who'll take the case. Very interesting. There was a doctor who called me. This was, I think, back in 2001, 2002. I was pretty new to my practice. And once I opened up my practice, apparently, and mind you, Las Vegas, Nevada didn't have enough doctors. But apparently there was somebody who felt that him being 2 miles away, I was stepping on his corner. And I was on his turf, kind of like a pretty woman turf type of thing. My office was 2 miles away. And a lot of women were excited that there was a female doctor so they could come to me for pap smears. So I get this call from him. And he said, you're stealing my patients. I go, no, I'm not doing anything to steal. I'm not actively. I mean, if they found me, do you want me to look at who they saw last and tell them to just go back? I mean, do you do pap smears? And he says, you know what? one of your patients, I think, has a scar, I could tell her to sue you for that mole you removed off of her. And I'm like, first of all, you're not going to trap me into a HIPAA discussion. I don't know who the hell you're talking about or what you're talking about. Number two, bring it. Now, this was another doctor threatening me that he was going to talk a patient into who possibly had a little scar. Now, if I remember who he might have been talking about, I think he was either lying, or there was a woman with a pre-melanoma and I removed it and it left probably like a 3 or 4 little millimeter scar. It was actually pretty well done. I talked to dermatologists. They go, that was pretty damn good. You did a good job on that one. And you saved her life because she could have had melanoma. So we would have never accounted to anything like that. But this is why the frivolous lawsuits that were happening in the early 2000s were so rampant that doctors were like, I'm ordering tests. Yeah, I'm going to protect myself. You're going to get a referral. I'm not going to get sued for this. And it just went, it got so ridiculous in medicine that we did have to have tort reform and other things in place because no doctor wanted to practice. Well, this is what's going to eventually happen as it pertains to employee-employer relationship. If you offering, some drinks at a holiday party is going to get you in hot water because somebody thinks you're discriminating against them. Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of bosses like, I don't talk to my employees anymore. We don't do any more employee meetings. Like, why not? Well, because they could use something against me. So as long as they don't see me, I then can't get in trouble for being misconstrued. And you wonder why these companies are going to AI. 1-877 Doc Dolly.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe, someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Dahlia. As many of you know, I lost another colleague to suicide. And tragically, tens of thousands of Americans, including hundreds of physicians, take their lives each year. Why is suicide so common? Why doctors? Even medical students have alarming suicide rates. Nurse burnout is at an all-time high. Maybe it's the monstrous workloads we face every day. Maybe it's because of burnout, malpractice suits, online reviews. Medicine has changed so rapidly that it's almost unrecognizable to those of us who entered this field and wanted to take it by storm. But there's not a lot of resources out there for healthcare providers who deny that they are struggling or at risk. So my book, The Depressed Doctor, aims to change that for both the physician and medical student and anyone else who is struggling. Find The Depressed Doctor on Amazon or at drdahlia.com. And if you are currently struggling, call or text 988, the National Suicide Prevention and Crisis Hotline. Don't wait. The silence is killing us. And we're back. 1-877 Doc Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. So I was watching the news the other day, and somebody said FAFO. And they were just saying FAFO. And I'm like, oh my gosh, nothing screams middle age than when you have to stop and Google what are these new acronyms. Well, it's something we've said. I just didn't know that, there's an acronym for it. An acronym is where you take the first letter of each word. And I guess FAFO is you can't say it on air, but you mess around, you find out. And so, I've been kind of looking up some of these, and it was interesting. Another acronym caught my eye, NERF. These Nerf balls and Nerf guns we, grew up with and played with. I didn't know NERF was an acronym. NERF stands for Non-Expanding Recreational Foam. And I'm sure you all knew that. I didn't know that. I just thought it was a Nerf because it sounds funny. Merv Griffin, Nerf. I don't know. I just thought, okay, let's call it a Nerf. And they branded it like Nerf. I didn't realize that it stood for something, right? Non-expanding recreational form, like scuba. Scuba stands for what? Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Thank you, Family Ties, for teaching me that one back in the 80s. So that's what scuba means. CC under email. CC means carbon copy. Because in the olden days, we had to use that very inky, purpley carbon to make a copy of what we were doing to give to somebody. Well, on email, you don't have to do that. So CC means carbon copy, and then your BCC means blind carbon copy. When you guys hear Gomer, luckily the Pit and these shows don't necessarily, but some of the older, like Scrubs, might use some of these things, like Gomer means get out of my emergency room. I never used that because I wanted them to be taken care of, but I guess Gomer was something that people would use as somebody would keep on coming in just to bug or harass and take you away from patients who really needed to see you. And so people would say, gosh, I got a Gomer in room 2. I never liked to use that term, but it was a term. I had one patient who said that they saw SOB on their note. The doctor called me an SOB, and I go, really? Oh, he said that? No, but he wrote it. What did he write as? Oh, SOB is shortness of breath. So, sure, yeah, it's okay. Shortness of breath. They're not calling you a son of a. You're good. You're good. It's okay. So I thought, we should probably review some of these common acronyms so people don't freak out. All right. I was just fascinated by that NERF one, and I still non-expanding recreational form. Who knew? Okay. So there's a lot of different acronyms. I want to thank Reader's Digest for some of these. Very, very cool. Radar, radio detection and ranging. Oh, no. Actually, no. I think radar is a little different. Hold on. Yeah. Radar is radio detecting and ranging. A lot of you guys say, I forgot my PIN. What's a PIN? I don't know. It's a PIN. It's a personal identification number. That's what it stands for. It's okay. We all know ASAP, as soon as possible. I want this report done ASAP. Okay. I remember when they first started using that, they all thought they were being cool. Oh, I need the docs. Can you send me the docs? You mean the documents? Just say documents. I don't be, I get the acronym, but don't be abbreviating, trying to sound cool. Many of you online will see something that says BOGO, buy one, get one, or BOPUS. This I've never seen, BOPUS. Buy online, pick up in store. FOMO, I learned about 10 years ago, fear of missing out, because my students were like, I got major FOMO. I go, do you need a penicillin shot? I didn't know what FOMO was. You got FOMO? I hope I didn't get that in college and medical school. No, it's fear of missing out. The GIF or GIF. When you have a GIF or a JPEG, that means something. So a GIF is a graphics interchange format. I'm going to forget what that is, but GIF is graphics interchange format. Whereas your JPEG is Joint Photographic Experts Group. I don't see, JPEG to me is how you save a picture. And then there's a PNG, although I don't know what PNG stands for. I guess I gotta look it up, but anyway, Joint Photographic Experts Group is your JPEG. We all know what GOAT is, greatest of all time. But did you know KISS is an acronym? So if somebody says KISS, I'm like, no, can't marry, but thank you. They're not asking me for a kiss. And you know what? I really should have thought about that too, because not many people want me to kiss them anymore. That's kind of what happens when you age. KISS means keep it simple, stupid. That's what KISS means. I had no idea. No idea. Laser, I remember learning about this in school. A laser means light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Thank God they call it laser. So light amplification by a stimulated emission of radiation. Scuba, we already did that one. Sonar. Sonar means sound, navigation, and ranging. Taser. Did you guys know taser has in its acronym, I think the guy that created it, a Tom A. Swift electric rifle. That's what Reader's Digest is saying a taser is. What about your VIN? VIN, we all know, vehicle identification number. YOLO, you only live once. Your zip code. Zip means something. Did you guys know that? Zip means zone improvement plan. I would not know that. At the workplace, you might be called a dink. How many of you have been called a dink? I've been called a dink, but I think for a different reason. A dink means you're double income, no kids. I had no idea. If you're a GAP, generally accepted accounting principles. If you're a hippo, your highest paid person's opinion. So if you're like, that guy's hippo, that means I guess he's highest paid. PETA is a pain in the ass. I know that, PETA. Not PETA in terms of the animals. It's PITA. SMART means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound. Okay, that sounds made up. Really, if you're a smart, just say smart. Snafu? Now, people say, oh, it's a little snafu, like a mess up. No. It means situation normal, blanked up. That's what snafu means. SOP is standard, or SOP is standard operating procedure. SWIMS is safe work method statements. AWOL is absent without leave. If you went AWOL. BOLO is be on the lookout. CONUS is the Continental United States. FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. FLOTUS, First Lady of the United States. FUBAR, blanked up beyond all recognition. I can't say what the F meant. A lot of people are like, what's SCOTUS? SCOTUS is the Supreme Court. What's SOTU? State of the Union. So those are things. What does SWAT mean? SWAT means Special Weapons and Tactics. I like saying SWAT. All right. Tech acronyms. AJAX is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Okay. Okay. Basic. Remember we had to learn BASIC? So we're like, I guess it's some code. BASIC is beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code. What's a CAPTCHA? You know how you always have CAPTCHA? You're like, are they trying to capture something? CAPTCHA is standing for Completely Automated Public Turing Test to tell computers and humans apart. Wow, I would have never known that one. That's what CAPTCHA means. RAM, random access memory. ROM is read-only memory. Your SIM card is subscriber identity module. WYSIWYG is what you see is what you get. FUBU, for us, by us. GEICO. You know what GEICO stands for? No, not cheap insurance. Government Employees Insurance Company. Who knew? IKEA is Ingvar Kamprad Elmitard Agunyart. That's what IKEA stands for. Lego. Leggot. Danish for play well. I learned something today.
Can you believe, with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA-1. That's 800-JBS-USA-1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA-1 today.